Why am I so close? Why is that merch so big? Okay, well, full-time sad girl. A part-time VTuber, I'm lucid Multimedia's unluckiest demon, Mamana Boomi DESU! A pleasure to meet you all again. If you haven't been keeping up with my Twitter, I've not had a good week. I've not had a good week at all. It's been rough. It's been rough out here, buddy. But hey, you know what was the light at the end of the tunnel for me? Knowing that I get to share one of my favorite things with some of my favorite people. You guys. I need a I should probably add that before our big debut on Friday at 8 p.m. Eastern. Anyways, hey, it's been a while. I hope you guys are doing well. Let me actually like not be all up in your face for a second. Let me go. How about this? How about okay. You know what? I will be all up in your face. I'm leaning in with excitement. Yeah, I'm leaning in for a hug. I really need it. Yeah, it's been a pretty stressful week for me, so I'm not gonna lie. I wanted to have like more stuff prepared for, like, you know, we just finished season 1, which isn't like a small feat. We just finished the big old season 1. And I wanted to have like more things prepared, but I've just been so busy catching up with like debut things that, you know, I just didn't really get around to it. I didn't really get around with it. I'm sorry. maybe another time, but maybe next week. Wait, that'll be this Sunday, so maybe not this Sunday. Maybe the next Sunday. I guess we're like almost halfway through season 2. We shall have something a little bit more prepared. But for now, I am focused on debut. I don't know. I wanted to try and plan something proper, but I was just like, I don't know. I was at my grandma's all weekend, which also thank you for you know, letting me take a weekend off and go hang out with my grandma. She was very, very happy that I was able to come, and I did help her like clean her house, and you know, I listened to her talking about her grandma things and just made sure she was doing okay. She was really happy, very, very happy, because she lives like she used to live like close to the city, right? And then she moved pretty far out into this really, really big house. And you know, she did have a roommate, but no longer. And you know, she's just been pretty lonely, so I was like, I should go see my grandma. Not like Greg, who only sees his grandfather to ensure that he's still in his good graces. To get his inheritance. Have we gotten there? Have we discussed Greg's inheritance yet? Probably not. Maybe that comes up in season 2. I don't know. Anyways, yeah, I wanted to like, you know, have like polls and stuff, but I think we'll have to wait. We'll have to wait a little bit, because I wanted to have like polls to see who you guys' favorite characters are. So we're just gonna chat it out, okay? I'm really relying on you guys to chat it out with me, okay? To get a nice little temperature check to see where we are, how you guys are feeling about the show, and if you're ready for season 2. But before we do that, let me do a small little vent, because I wanted to, you know, this is our last time seeing each other before I do the big debut, and I'm like really nervous for it and everything. So, but I was like really stressed out yesterday, and I don't know. I don't know. We had like a rehearsal, and I just felt like I didn't do my best, and I just feel like behind on things because I was gone for the weekend, and I didn't really get a chance to like work on things as much as I wanted to, which is like fine because I did get a chance to spend time with family, and we like had a family picnic, and I saw my cousins and like my uncles and like my great uncles and my great aunts, and like, you know, everybody from the area drove down to go hang out with each other. So it was really nice because it's like, you know, I never really can go out to those things too often because of work. But yeah, I was feeling like a little stressed out because I was like, okay, well, you know, personal relationship wise I feel fulfilled, but when it comes to actually getting the shit done that I have to do, we're cutting it close, you know, cutting it close to the wire. And then I was thinking like, dude, do I don't know. I feel like maybe I shouldn't have like scheduled the watch along. Like I could use the hours back, but at the same time, I don't know. It's a nice like breather that I get to share my favorite season of my favorite show with my favorite people, you know? So thank you for hanging out with me today. It really does mean a lot. Literally like last night, it took me forever to finish dinner because like I just lost complete like all of my appetite, right? And I went to bed pretty late, but you know, there's no better medicine than laying down and scrolling on phone, you know? So while I was doing that, I was scrolling on phone, and I was looking at the Succession subreddit and like looking at all the memes and stuff, and despite how overwhelmed I felt, I don't know, I had a small smile on my face, and I was just like, I don't know, it just felt really like nice knowing that tomorrow, well, you know, speaking in last night's term, right? Like I was just thinking like, oh well, at least tomorrow I get to watch this with chat, and we get to enjoy this together. I don't know. It was just really heartwarming knowing. And I guess it's like thinking about like sharing the things that I like with you guys. Sometimes I'm just kind of like, I don't know, I'm trying not to get emotional right now. If I maybe I should put my crying face on so that way I can cry if I want to. But I don't know. I've been wanting to cry all week. So if I'm gonna let it happen just a little bit, okay? So if my voice is sounding strained, it's because I'm letting the tears flow, because it's like I've been trying to hold it in, but like I don't know, I'm like really stressed, guys. Please come to the debut. I don't know. What was I gonna say? What was I gonna say? Let me look at my notes. Let's see. I think what worries me about the debut is like I'm really scared to like introduce myself to new people all of a sudden. I don't know why. I'm feeling like really shy again about everything. And maybe I should put this face back on. Like I don't know. It's just like I don't know. Like last time I debuted, I was like really excited, and I was just like so excited, right? And I was like excited to like show myself to the world and be like, hey guys, come check me out. But this time it doesn't, I don't know, it feels weird. It feels so much different. Like the expectation, I don't know. I don't know like what's wrong with it. Why I'm like so stressed out this time around. What did I write down? I liked how I worded it last night. Let's see. Now I feel like more sure of myself as like a creator, but I feel like less worthy of I don't even know, like just like less worthy of like a whole production and like event. But last time, like when I first debuted, I felt less sure of myself as a creator, but like more worthy, if that makes sense, which is like such an opposite feeling. But yeah. don't know. I don't know. I don't even know if there's like gonna be a lot of people to be there or not, or if it's just like, you know, if it's just like me and you guys, then that makes it okay. But it's like, I don't know, there's just so much going on, and then I'm just kind of like, I'm scared. Because it's like I really want to like show how much I've improved since last time. And like watching the VOD, right? Watching the VOD, I do think that I've improved. But like I said, I do feel like less worthy, if that makes sense. But I just don't want to like, I don't care about embarrassing myself, but I don't want to like embarrass the company. Which I know is like, you know, people are going to be like, no, it's not the thing. It's not a thing, right? But I don't know. I've just become like such a perfectionist lately. But it's okay. It's okay. Thank you guys. Smile and wave. That's what I'm trying to do. I'm just gonna smile and wave. I think like because last night when I was practicing, I was just kind of like, oh my god, like it just wasn't at like a place where I wanted it to be, despite it being like, you know, it's like the day after tomorrow, and I'm just like, dude, there's so much that I need to, but whatever, it's cool, that's how it is, right? That's how it is. It felt good to like get that off my chest. My nose is gonna be kind of stuffy, and I'm gonna be rubbing my eyes a lot, but it's just because, I don't know, I've just had like a lot of and then on top of that, I've had the worst days at work too, man. This week has just not been going okay for me. Monday was awful, Tuesday was worse, Wednesday, today was like a little bit better, but I started off on the wrong foot. What even happened? Let's see. I caught a mouse in my bathtub yesterday and I was late to work, but they were okay with it. I was like, yo, I found a mouse in my bathtub. I'm gonna be late today. And they're like, oh yeah, no problem. So that's cool. That's cool. But like, you know, we had like big things going on at the Dream Center. We had like very important guests coming in. I'm just like, oh my god, I want to be there on time. And I did make it in on time, but it was like not an ideal way to start my morning. Let's see. On Monday, I thought that I was being proactive and like doing something, but I ended up not being. I don't know. It wasn't like the best way to do things. I actually fucked up big time, and they were kind about it. But like, you know, it literally took me like 48 hours to resolve. I was at work for like an extra hour and a half yesterday, and then today was a little bit easier. I wasn't like running around like a headless chicken compared to yesterday, but you know, I was actually able to leave early today, right? And well, today my fuck up was cemented. It was savable yesterday. I was like running around and I was like trying to save it, and they're like, oh yeah, you know, I thought it was saved, but it was cemented this morning. I was like, oh shit, I fucked up, right? And yeah, so that wasn't fun. But my supervisors were pretty understanding about it. And then on I don't know, it was pretty empty at the office today because a lot of people are on like a business trip, and I was like, okay, maybe I can leave early and I could like get some work done ahead for the debut and like for tonight's stream. It was raining, right? Okay, first and foremost, it was raining and I wasn't wearing like sneakers. I was wearing like running shoes, and you know, running shoes are kind of breathable. So my socks were wet. My toes were cold all day because my socks were wet. Because my shoes aren't like, you know, they're not meant for the rain. I thought it was just gonna drizzle a little bit this morning. It's been raining all day. And then on my way home, I probably left work like maybe like 45 minutes early. And it was awful, dude. I left work 45 minutes early, went to the train station. There's a shuttle bus that takes me to a different train station, like the main like train station, and I was gonna take that, but I was like, oh, you know, it's gonna come here in 10 minutes, so it's fine if I wait. I mean, if I wait for it, you know, it takes me just as long to get to my usual train station. So I'll just go walk to my usual train station. I walked over there, I went to the train station, and then I should have known it was fucked up at this point because I looked at like the timetable and it said the train that I was waiting for, it did not have a time. None of the trains had a time. None. It was just all like hyphens. There was no time for any of this incoming like next 6 trains. I was just like, oh, whatever, I already paid, I'm already in here. I waited. I looked at my city mapper, which like helps you get around. It's kind of like, yeah, city mapper is basically like Google Maps, but it's like more for the subway. I used my city mapper. It said, okay, train is coming in, I think it was like 15 minutes. I was like, all right, cool. You know, I can wait 15 minutes. Worst case, I'll take the express. Express train is coming in 7. Express train came, and when it came, it said that my train was coming in 2 minutes. I was like, okay, I'm gonna take, I can wait 2 minutes. I'll wait 2 minutes for my train. 2 minutes passed. Another 2 minutes passed. Another 2 minutes passed. Next thing I know, I've been down there for like an hour. I think I was down there for an hour, and it's hot in there because you don't have any circulation. No train came, but more people are just piling into the station because for a whole hour, no train came to the station. And so, you know, instead of coming home at like, I think I could have made it home by like right before 5. It got pushed to like 6:30 or something. I was like, oh my god, fuck me, dude. Fuck me. Just not my luck. This is just every day is something new, you know? But it's okay because it's like, you know, it's like what they say. You can't have a good day without having the bad day. So the next time I have a good day, I'll think back to like, man, remember that awful, like unusually like bad luck week that I had? Oh boy, I'm sure that I'm glad that I made it past that or something. Something like that. I don't know. Don't let it get to you, Boomy. Hannah Montana put on the wig and put on the show. You get the best of both worlds. Let's see. Just show you. Just show me. You're right. I appreciate it. I'm not gonna read the encouragement anymore because or else the waterworks are gonna start again. I blame the shark. I don't think so. I don't know. I think it's just like, you know, when you're already like kind of stressed out and that puts you on edge. I think especially me, I don't get stressed out too easily, but like when I do, it's usually because like my cup is already full, right? So it's easy for me, like once I reach that threshold, like, oh my god, I'm freaking out, I'm going to like, it's gonna be like a domino effect, which isn't that great. Probably something that I should work on. But yeah, maybe an invisible train did come. I don't think I've ever seen my train station that packed. It was actually disgusting. I made a tweet about it, and it was a joke. Okay, it was a joke. I wanted to emphasize that because I don't want people to be like, oh, Boomy, don't say that. But it's just like, come on. But I made the joke where I was saying like, because I was there for an hour, dude. I was literally in the train station for an hour just scrolling on my phone. I barely even realized that all that time had passed. But I was like, I was thinking, I was texting my roommate complaining, and I told them, I was like, I would have jumped on the tracks, but if I did jump on the tracks, I would have been waiting there for an hour for the next train to put me out of my misery. I would have just been standing there looking like a fool. But like the trains was like, it was so crowded in the station, dude. Like I was actually scared to like try and get to the exit because I went all the way down to the end of the line when I saw that the it was coming in 2 minutes. 2 minutes read as like 45 minutes, but when I saw it was coming in 2 minutes, I was like, okay, I know that the train's gonna be super duper packed, So I'm just gonna go all the way to the end of the station, and I should probably stop yapping about my problems, actually. I just looked at the time. Okay. But yeah, I was like, I'm just gonna wait all the way at the end of the station, and I had to walk all the way back to the other side because you know, that's the only place where the exit was, and I was so scared that like somebody was like gonna push me off on the tracks. But hey, even if they did, I would have had plenty of time to get up. Actually, when I decided like fuck this, I'm gonna take because the train station was packed, and I knew that the next train that was coming was gonna be packed. I was like, fuck this, I'm just gonna take the cab home. And I did. It was like, but even then there was like more traffic. But at least I made it home. And then the entire time I was thinking like, well, at least I get to watch my favorite show with chat. Let's go ahead and talk Succession. Because I spent the last 20 minutes crying and talking about myself. What the fuck was that? What was that? Oh. I've never heard that sound before. Dennis, thank you so much for supporting me on Coffee. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I really appreciate it. It really means a lot. Hey, actually, let me put this up here, and maybe then I will be able to know. Thank you. That really means a lot. And honestly, knowing that I got to talk to you guys today was like, that's what helped me push through. Yeah, we do have a coffee. I want to start blogging on there, honestly. Oh my god, I'm gonna start talking about Substack and like how much I kind of hate Substack, to be honest. I downloaded it thinking that I wanted to blog there, but I don't know. It's kind of like annoying and pretentious. Anyways, let's talk success. Let me get this merch store ad out of the way, and let's put this here instead. And let's also get, I didn't realize I have that here. Let's get that out of the way. And you know what? Let's go here. And let me just is this okay? Is this okay? Last time let me just hide that too. Last time we watched the show, we finished season 1. I hope that you guys enjoyed. Honestly, here, I have some talking points for myself, so I'm just gonna go ahead and talk through it and yap for the last like half hour. If we end up being a little bit late to the Discord stream, that's okay. Yeah. Ask Lucid to develop a Boomi blog as part of the website. That could be a good idea. I could drive some traffic to our website. Maybe I could use my blog and just throw a bunch of like keywords in there for SEO. Anyways, I want to talk about my experience with season 1, and I also want you guys to tell me what your first impressions of the characters and all of that. Let's see. So, what was your guys' first impression of the first season? Please feel free to let me know. I have seen this show, I rewatch it every year, actually. And I first came across it in 2021. I think I watched it in like mid-June. I'm thinking because I wrote it in my diary. I was like, oh, I came across this show and it was really good, but I have no idea what's going on. Which if it's your first time watching, I think it's very easy to be like, dude, what the fuck are they talking about? Because you're kind of thinking like, you're trying to like suss out the characters and figure out where it's going. And I don't know, it's like, that's kind of how I felt. It took me a while for the show for me to click. So the first time that I watched it, I remember thinking like, I liked it, and then I got to episode 6, which was when they had the vote of no confidence, and I was like, okay, that was pretty lit. And then I really did enjoy episode 8, where they went to the Tom's bachelor party. That one, I was just like, okay, this show's pretty funny. I feel like I've gotten a feel for the characters, and I'm kind of invested. And then we get to that season 1 finale, where the bear hug, Kendall is trying to, you know, buy his dad's, like, you know, yeah, basically like buy his dad out of the company. He's working with his dad's enemy to something about shareholder seats. I don't know, the business jargon kind of escapes me, but basically they're trying to kick Logan out of the company and trying to get the company out of the family's hands. So of course, like, all of the other siblings are like, Kendall, what the fuck are you doing, right? But Kendall, he's just like, dude, my dad screwed me over. I was supposed to be his heir, and now he's just like, oh, you know what? Never mind, JK, I'm staying. Of course Kendall's gonna want to screw his dad over. And you can kind of see like how bits and pieces of like how the characters are like how they were raised too. I need the clock here. Where's our clock? Here it is. How the characters were raised too in the show. Sort of like how we often see Logan squaring up with the kids too, you know? He's like, I think we see that with Kendall most, where he's just like, oh, you're gonna like fucking, what is it, you're gonna hit me? You're like, yo, you're balling up your fist, are you gonna hit me? All of that. I really liked it. I think you did a good job introducing the characters. We have amazing. Bear hug refers to a hostile takeover attempt when an acquirer offers a significantly higher price for a target company shares than their market value. Okay, yeah, so that makes sense. A bear hug, because it's like a hug, but of course, a hug from a bear is dangerous, potentially fatal, and yeah, Kendall was going to go ahead and do all of that. 15-minute reminder. Maybe we'll start a little late. Maybe we'll start 15 minutes late in the Discord thing. So I could have some more time to yap about season 1. But yeah, we'll definitely have more time to talk about it on Sunday too. Yeah. Logan reminds me of the leader of the Taskmasters. Is that the one like British show? The one British show where they're like doing things? Greg is a sleeper agent. The window jorker is going to be a deathbringer. Kendall is going to so drop the ball later in the season. Yes, so speaking of Kendall, he was the man. I think that he handled the bear hug situation pretty good, you know? He manned up and he did the thing that everybody was scared to do. And he told his dad, like, hey dad, we're, you know, we're gonna do a bear hug. And, you know, Logan was backed into a corner, quite literally. Like, he couldn't really do anything because it's like they had a pretty good offer and the shareholders would like that offer. And, you know, Logan, we've seen that he's not making the best decisions for the company. We also see that he's grooming Roman, the window jorker, and Shiv, the cheater, into being his next successors too. He keeps telling Shiv, come into the family business, Pinky. You know, we really need you here. We could really use your expertise. To the point where when she rejected it, he's like, okay, well, I guess I'm not gonna go to your wedding then. And he shows up anyways. And then, with Roman, you know, he gave Roman, what is it, like the responsibility of what was it, the rocket launch. And we saw that he accelerated the rocket launch so it could be a nice gift for, I don't think it wasn't really like supposed to be a gift for Shiv. I feel like it's kind of him like, you know, stroking his own ego, being like, dad, I can do it, like watch me do it. And then it just explodes and he's just like, you know, let's not mention this ever again. Washes his hands in silence. I laughed so hard when I first saw that. I could not believe that had happened. But yeah, Logan is trying to groom his other 2 kids into being his next heir. But I don't think that like any of them, maybe shit, I don't know. I really don't know if like any of them have like the savvy that Kendall does. Kendall, I feel like he was born and raised for the job. Roman, he's clearly the weaker dog. He's worked at Waystar for a while, but you know, he's kind of a walking liability. Shiv, she seems like she knows what she's doing. She seems like she knows what she's talking about, but she's never worked inside the family company. So she has a pure lack of experience, right? So that's pretty interesting. Okay, I'm just looking through my questions, but I want to see your guys' messages first. let's see. Kendall was so close. He was right. I forgot. We're going back to Kendall. Kendall, his sobriety streak ended. What was it? Like episode 7, the family therapy episode, when he failed. He got fired. He went to the bar. And, you know, he wasn't invited to the family therapy, I think. And so he went to the bar and he had his first drink. That first drink led to him doing like all these other drugs, specifically meth. And he got really high. He told his dad off. And his dad was like, you're a fucking nobody then, you know, get the fuck out of my face. And Kendall, he's waging war. That's what sort of like, you know, pushed them to go into the bear hug. But he becomes a little bit, I guess, overconfident. We see Kendall get a little bit manic with like his what was it, like, you know, trying to be hip and cool and like secure that art deal, and that didn't work out. So, you know, he teams with like his college friend Stewie and like his dad's greatest enemy, Sandy, to maybe not greatest enemy, maybe more like a rival. But anyways, he teams up with other people to backstab his dad once again. It looks like it's gonna work out, but it fails. It fails in the most horrible way possible, because Kendall's like, no, I need a straightener. I need a straightener. Like I need to be like, you know, coked up in order for us to work on this all night. And you know, he's just really like addict pilled, right? And he ends up meeting with that waiter that Logan told off, and they go for a little drive to try and secure some more powder. And here's a hot topic debate. Do you think Kendall killed that kid? Do you think Kendall killed that kid? Yes or no in the chat. Was it Kendall's fault or was it the kid's fault? Because the waiter, I mean, the waiter was, what did he take? What was it? Was it like ketamine or something? The waiter said he had ketamine. Kendall was like, no, that's way too strong. I need coke, right? And they are driving. And, you know, they're both pretty distracted, but there is a deer on the road. The waiter takes his hands on the wheel and steers them out of the way off the bridge. And, you know, we know what happens there. It's full-on crash. I mean, Kendall, in his defense, I'm part of the position. I'm in the camp where I don't think Kendall was at fault at all. I mean, I can see why he's feeling guilty about it, and like why it haunts him, because he was there, and like that's a pretty traumatizing experience. But I don't think he was at fault. I don't think the blood is necessarily on his hands. I don't know. He did fail to report it though. Yeah, I think legally, maybe that's more of the argument here. It's not really like morally is he at fault, but like legally, I think like I saw some people, like when I first watched this, they were discussing that like Kendall wants to avoid this whole thing being a scandal because that will follow him for the rest of his life. So it's like, even if he reported it, he's forever going to be known as that kid who like was in the car crash with that waiter, or like potentially killed that waiter, right? Something like that. But like it would ruin his job prospects and stuff, especially someone at his I guess level of influence and power. Kendall failed to report it, but the waiter did do drugs and the waiter pulled the wheel. Exactly. Yeah, Kendall was supposed to be a bro and keep him safe, but the waiter committed tsukidoki. Luckily, Kendall's dad is super duper rich, right? They had his bodyguard, Colin. So you remember in the morning after when Kendall was getting breakfast and he had like that really scary man come up and approach him? That's Colin. That is Logan's bodyguard. And he is the one who went to the crime scene, and they found was it that they found, I think they found Kendall's wallet, or they found just the key card that leads to his room. I know that they mentioned the key card, but I don't know if his whole wallet was there. But either way, they found evidence that linked Kendall to the crime. So Kendall is right now forever in his dad's debt. Dad is like, it's okay, I will take care of it, son. You know, and I don't even think he has to mention like, hey, like just get rid of the bear hug. Maybe he did say that. I don't know. It's been like a week, but I don't think that. I feel like that's sort of the unspoken deal, right? Hey, don't backstab me, and I won't backstab you. And yeah. Yeah, just the key card, and he was witnessed wet. Right. He tried his best to hide, but he couldn't. And basically, Logan has some power over Kendall. We see Kendall sobbing like a child into his daddy's arms. Yeah. I literally went to the beach last night with a friend I was talking to about this whole idea. It's been on your mind? Logan 100% thinks Kendall did it though, right? I think so. I think that everybody is quite aware that Kendall was there for the crime. I'm pretty sure that they all know. It's unspoken, but you know, like what else would have happened? That's why they're all like, you know, are you sure he didn't like steal something from your room? Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Kendall's like, I think season 1 we see so many ups and downs for Kendall, and let's see. I saw that somebody said that's like his character. I feel like that's gonna be his character. Dennis, you said that, right? We see so many ups and downs in season 1 for Kendall. I guess like based on the first season that we watched, do you guys have like any, I don't know, theories, I guess? Or like what's your like feel of the characters? I think Kendall's like up and down, like the roller coaster of being a Ken doll. That's what I think in like the Circle Jerk subreddit, that's what they call the Kendall fans. The Ken dolls. You have the Greg eggs, the con heads, and I don't know what Tom fans are actually, now that I think about it. But yeah, I feel like that's a pretty good prediction for the character. He's gonna fall short every single time. Ken's gonna be a bit of a sad boy right now. He's definitely gonna be a bit of a sad boy. I know like a few thumbnails ago, I did it was like Kendall Roy and like we're so back, it's so over, we're so back, it's so over, and it was just kind of like a loop of that. If you're a Ken doll, strap it. But I don't know, he does have some pretty boss moments, and I'm looking forward for you guys to see that, for you guys to witness Kendall's highest of highs and his lowest of lows. The wife is gonna be such a wild card. Oh right, wait, Rava, his ex-wife, or are we talking about Marsha? Marsha, Logan's wife. She does seem to have her own thing going on. She had her son come in. Oh, the bride lady, Shiv, the sister, Siobhan Roy. Shiv, I feel like she definitely has more. I think she comes into her character more in the second season. So I'm really excited for you guys to see Shiv. I think she's a really great character, honestly. I'm really excited for you guys to see Shiv like come to be. I feel like in the first season, like the first time that I watched the show, she was probably like one of my least favorite characters. Not for any reason in particular, but just because like, I don't know, there wasn't like a whole lot for me to latch on to besides like, okay, she doesn't want to work for her dad. She fights a lot with Roman, and she's a cheater. Okay. But I do think that upon this rewatch, I've definitely like started like to me, because I'm watching the show so many times, I'm trying to like piece together like, okay, what made them to be this person. And I think upon this rewatch, in the first season, especially Shiv, how she interacts with Tom, and like I'm thinking specifically about like them talking about the wedding, and she's like, oh, it's whatever, like, you know, my mom wants us to have it in England. He's like, oh, well, like why whatever, you know, she's just like, it's just a wedding, who cares? And Tom's like, but it's our wedding, you know. Tom is being the one who's more proactive and romantic in the relationship, whereas Shiv, she's the one telling him, hey, I want to fuck other people on their wedding night, right? I think on this rewatch, especially towards the end of the season too. Like you get to see just how broken she is compared to like her brothers too. I think we kind of see that with Roman as well. We have seen like his sexual aversion, unless it has to do with like just general like debauchery and indecency. He's like all talk, no, was it all bark, no bite? He has the mouth of like, you know, just he just talks about like, oh yeah, you know, I'm fucking so many bitches, woohoo, but like he does it. All his girlfriends have complained about how little he interacts with them, which I think is really, it's a really interesting character aspect for him. We do see him get fleshed out more too. I think honestly, as the series goes on, Roman, he kind of starts at like the bottom for me, but he ends up pretty high for me. I think he has a really great character arc. Marcia is hella sus. Marcia was the nurse. Yeah, Marcia is Logan's wife, the French lady. I think it has been alluded to in her conversations with Willa that people are like, oh, was she kind of like, you know, an escort situation? Or like maybe she was like an escort in the past. I'm thinking about like the therapy episode where she tells Willa the story about how she had a friend who had the same job as Willa, quote unquote, like, you know, a call girl. And I think that there is like some discussion in the subreddit where they're like, oh, that was like a personal anecdote or something. But yeah. We can go into more detail. We can look at the subreddit on Sunday. But I just wanted to like, you know, at least talk a little bit about the first season before we watched it today. Before we watched the second season today. It should have felt really random. I thought so too. I feel like in the early episodes, like particularly like the hospital episodes where she's wearing that like cable knit sweater, you kind of get the feeling that she's kind of granola-y and like, you know, liberal. But I think, because at first I was just kind of like, oh, you know, she's like very like relatable. You know, she seems more grounded than everybody else. But as the series goes on, or as the season goes on, I would say, you kind of get like, oh, okay, she's like her siblings. But it did feel like a strange, not strange, but it did feel like her character changed a little bit, if that makes sense. Like her character isn't really fleshed out publicly or hinted at, and like Shiv during the family meeting came in guns blazing for no reason. Yeah, she really did have like a bone to pick with her dad. I think, you know, having seen the show so many times, it does feel a little bit like more natural to me, like her characterization. But yeah, she's really, I don't know, I like her. I like Shiv. I mean, I don't like her as like a person. Can't like any of these characters as a person. I think out of all of them as a person though, maybe it's because Shiv is like a fellow woman, but I find her really intimidating and I don't think I would like want to know her compared to the other guys. But yeah, I have to ask, what the fuck happened in the sewer? I was washing my kayak, so I was only listening. Oh, in the sewer, on her wedding, during her wedding, or the warehouse wave party. So if you're talking about when she's hanging out with her siblings for her wedding, I think it was just like a nice, like, okay, you know, they're all kind of assholes, but at the end of the day, they are family. They do have like really nice sibling bonding moments throughout the show. We're just kind of like, oh yeah, these guys are a family. Because I think that one thing that I like about the show is that they don't really rely on flashbacks at all, but you're just kind of hearing about like how, like, stories about how they're raised through not just like the actions that they take, but just like, you know, anecdotes that they have too, like Roman being locked up in the dog cage. Oh, the rave party. Yeah, so basically I think the biggest thing to take from that is Tom, he called Shiv and he's like, hey, you know, it's like my bachelor party and all, and like, you know, like, can I get a little and she was like, yeah, whatever, you know, we're adults, you know. She doesn't really like explicitly confirm anything, but I mean, we also do see that she's having a situationship with her ex-boyfriend Nate. And Tom, he takes that permission to go you know, have a little bit of fun with a girl who's been eyeing him, that girl being Tabitha. Tabitha, what was the story? She gave Tom a little bit of a beach, and then she made out with Tom. She gave Tom a beach. He splooged in her mouth. She made out with him, just pushed the splooge back in his mouth, and he swallowed it. Oh God, wait. Sarah, thank you so much for the raid. I hope you guys didn't hear that. Welcome, raiders. Welcome. You guys didn't hear that, right? Not at all, right? Cybros, welcome. I hope you guys are having a lovely stream. I actually did it. What were you guys talking about? Thank God. Should I repeat it? Dennis, do you need me to recap it again? Welcome, Raiders. Today we are talking about season 1 of one of my favorite TV shows of all time, Succession, because we're doing a watch along. I'm actually running really late for the watch along because I spent the first 20 minutes yapping about myself. So at 8:15, we're going to be headed into the Discord and watching season 2 of my favorite show ever, Succession. We were just talking about one of the characters, Tom, his bachelor party, where some girl was like IFing him at the party. So they went into a room, and this is all off screen, by the way. It's not like we're watching like, you know, something inappropriate. Only a little bit inappropriate. But they go into a room, she gives him a beach, and then he splooges, and then she puts the splooge in his mouth, and he swallows it. What I'm trying to say is that at the party, right, Tom, he's kind of bragging about it to Greg. He's like, yeah, it was so awesome, dude. Like, I swallowed it. It was crazy. And it's not like cheating because it's like it came back into me. So it's like a closed loop system, right? And you know, you can tell that he doesn't like it at all, right? He thinks that it's something that he should enjoy, but I think that scene is proof enough that Tom Wamsgams is a monogamous man. He loves his wife very much, and he wants to be in a monogamous relationship with her. So imagine his surprise when on literally the night of his wedding, his wife not only brings the ex that she's cheating on him with, but also tells him, yeah, I've been cheating on you, and I don't think that I meant for a monogamous relationship. I think that we should have an open marriage. Oh my God. Oh my God. Kind of crazy. Is that why they were going on with the closed? Yes, that's why they were talking about the closed loop system. And not only that, right? Roman's date to Tom and Shiv's wedding, he brought Tabitha over. I don't have a ooh. I have a boo. But Roman brings Tabitha as his date to Tom and Shiv's wedding, and kind of making things awkward. I don't know if Shiv is aware. I think that they did mention, I think Roman did joke about that, but I don't know if she like believes him or not. But yeah. Boomy, what are you making boomers watch? The greatest show of all time. During Emmy season, when this show was airing, it was a clean sweep. Actually, the Better Call Saul fans, there was a bit of a fan war because Succession won over Better Call Saul every single time. I lost track. Who was Tabitha? Tabitha, she is not a major player, but she was just introduced in the bachelor party episode, just as the lady who Tom hooked up with. That's it. And then Roman was like, hey, I mean, Tom was telling Roman, like, yeah, I think I'm gonna do something with her. Like, she's really hot. And Roman's like, yeah, she is really hot. My dad would love her. So I think that Roman is only going out with Tabitha, not only to stir the pot with Tom and Shiv, but also because he's seeking his dad's approval. It was just the weirdest bachelor's party. Yeah, that's basically it. We also do see Roman and Kendall compete a little bit, because Kendall, he, was just recently fired from the dad's company for trying to backstab his dad and kick his dad out of the CEO leadership position. So Kendall got fired, right? And then he's at that party trying to make deals. He actually that's where he finds out that Stewie, who has a shareholder seat, who has a board seat at the company, is just a puppet for his dad's rival, Sandy, right? And Kendall was like, you know what? My dad fucked me over. Fuck my dad. Fuck my family. I want in. And Kendall was, that's kind of where they came up with the bear hug situation. Kendall was like, fuck all that. Like, let's just fuck my dad over. And Sandy, I'm gonna be your puppet too. Okay, gotta go now. Bye, everyone. Thank you so much for stopping by, Unknown Individual. Thank you so much for hanging out. Yeah, yeah, season 2. If you're just now joining us for season 2, all you really have to know is Kendall is the family traitor, and Logan is just the abusive dad. I think it's pretty fine to jump in season 2. Let's also, before we wrap up, I want to talk Tom and Greg a little bit. Tell me, well, who is your guys' favorite character? I would say my favorite character, it's always going to be Greg. Greg, I would say Greg is my Kami Oshi. I don't think we kind of see bits and pieces of it. He was the one who told Jerry that Tom wanted to come out about the crew scandals. If you don't know about the crew scandals, Tom, when he was promoted into his position, he was given a big responsibility. He was told about the death pit of the company. He didn't have to be told, but he's like, I don't know, I guess just tell me about it, I guess. And he found out that Waystar Royco, the company, covered up sexual assaults, murder, and bribery, and all of that. And they have like a whole paper trail. It was a ticking time bomb that was ready to explode. Tom couldn't tell anybody, so he roped Greg into it. Greg is very desperate for a position in the family. He is the great nephew of the CEO, Logan. But, he kind of grew up poor. Not poor, I mean, I guess kind of broke. I don't know. I really don't know how he was raised. But, he's really desperate to try and make a name for himself here and just trying to survive, right? Because he got fired from his job for getting too high. But, yeah, so they have the death pit. Those two are kind of like bound by that secret. Greg went and shredded all the papers, except he didn't shred all of it. He made copies of some papers and shredded the rest. So that way he has ammo, like blackmail to protect himself in case shit hits the fan. He saves that for himself. Nobody knows that he has the papers, except he did tell at Shiv's wedding. He told Kendall, he's like, hey, well, it might be wise to keep me in a good position because I am pretty privy to the crew scandal. I actually helped clean that up. So we see Greg, he snitched Tom's plan of coming out public. He was gonna... I'm getting ahead of myself. When Tom first heard about the crew scandals and all of that being covered up, he was going to come out and be public about it and be like, hey, I found out this stuff and I don't condone any of that. And we are airing it out right now and I'm taking responsibility and blah, 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 right? He wanted to do the good thing. Greg blabs about that to Jerry. Jerry approaches Tom and was like, hey, I heard you're thinking about doing a press conference. Don't do that. And Tom's like, who the fuck did you hear that from? Jerry's like, your mom when I fucked her. And then she walks away, right? Tom immediately thinks like, okay, I've only told 2 people. It's got to be Greg or it's got to be Shiv. He goes up to Greg. Greg convincingly says, no, I would never do that to you. Why would I tell anybody, right? Tom believes him. So right now, we're still in the position where Tom thinks that Shiv is the one who ratted him out to Jerry too. So yeah, we see Greg making some sneaky moves in the background. Right now he has blackmail and a reason to stay in the company. So he's doing pretty well for himself. I like seeing him be disgusting. I think like the slow corruption of him in the background, that's really fun for me to watch. I think that he's slowly turning into Tom. He's a Tom Jr. Craig, bro. What a character to share your name with. It's okay. He's a great character. He's my favorite character. So Logan is boss first, dad later when needed. Oh yeah, boss first and dad later. Yeah. He really is. I think he's only. Wait, did we get to that part? Did we see that part? If I am doing a mild spoiler, I apologize. But there was a point, I think in season 1, where Jerry is like, should we tell the kids? And Logan says, what's the angle for telling the kids? Maybe it was Jerry or it was Marcia. His first thought is, what's the angle, right? Why should I tell my kids something important unless it can benefit me? I think that is a good encapsulation of Logan's personality, I guess, as a father. I think Roman is a really great character too. We do see him like, you know, trying to rise up to his dad's expectations of him, but you know, like, does he do it because he actually thinks he can do the job, or is he doing it because he has something to prove? But I think all of them feel like they have something to prove, except for Shiv. We haven't seen it too much. Shiv is adamantly saying, no, dad, I'm not gonna join the company, even though dad really wants her to, because he's trying to, you know, figure out which kid he wants to be his heir apparent. Now that his favorite, quote-unquote favorite, I don't think he likes any of his kids genuinely, but like his favorite choice is like no longer in the running because he's backstabbed him not once but twice. But actually, I don't know where we left off last season. Kendall, he is in debt to his dad. He is indebted to his dad. So what kind of adventures will sad boy Kendall be going on while he is on his leash? That was a bit of a scattered, not recap, I guess, discussion of season 1. Sorry I spent so long crying and like talking about myself. But I've had a really rough week, okay? I've had a rough week. I needed to get it off my chest. I need my internet pity points. I usually don't like sad posting, but I gotta admit, it's kind of cathartic to, you know, pour your heart out and see number go up. But we are going to continue watching we're going to start season 2 literally right now. Come join our Discord. And we will talk more in depth about the season 1, and then I guess like the first first 2 episodes of season 2 this Sunday, because even though we have all of our debut stuff going on this Sunday or this weekend, we are going to still continue our Succession Sundays. I want to make sure that we don't miss any weeks because we're cutting it really tight. I want to finish this before like the holidays start, so I think we have like a week or 2 of buffer room before we hit Thanksgiving. So that's why I'm just like, I don't want to skip any weeks. If I have to move it to like Wednesday, I think Wednesday will be our backup days, but if I have to move it to Wednesday, I will. Yeah. Yeah. We'll talk more about it this upcoming Sunday during our next Succession pre-show. But for now, I hope to see you in the Discord for our watch-along Season 2, Episode 1 and Season 2, Episode 2. I think both episodes are maybe like an hour or so long, so Yeah, basically just like watching a movie. Yeah, I'm really excited. This is my favorite season. I think it's the best season. Not to say any of the seasons are bad. All of them are really, really, really good. But I think that this one just has like, they really hit their stride here, and humor top notch, all the references top notch. I think like most of the memes come from this season. Yeah, I'm really excited. This show is so good, and I'm really happy that you guys are enjoying it, because I don't know, it makes me happy. It makes me happy that I have somebody to like share the memes with. In the Discord, we also have a Succession thread, so if you see anything that reminds you of the show, feel free to send it into there. And then I think like every week during our pre-show, I want to start like talking about the things that we talk about in there. Anyways, yeah, let's go ahead and get to season 2. If you've been sitting down for as long as I have, make sure you give your body a nice big stretch. Don't forget to stay hydrated. And last but not least, treat yourself to something special. Get yourself a nice little snack while we get ready to start the show. I think let's start it at 8:25, so maybe in about 7 minutes. That way everybody can like get settled in. I'll do a quick little audio test and all of that, and yeah. Okay, anyways, yeah! I'll see you guys in a bit. Bye! VOD watchers, or maybe even just like the people, like regular Suck fans who come over here, they're gonna be like, dude, what is up with the beginning of this stream? It's okay. I don't mind crying. When I cried yesterday, I was just like, oh, wait. I cry really pretty, so it's okay. Anyways, I'll see you guys soon. Bye bye.